Decades since her name dominated scandalous headlines as a young intern, Monica Lewinsky celebrates turning 50 outside of the public limelight she once reluctantly occupied. Today she embraces a quiet, private life, largely avoiding media scrutiny, to invest her energy instead in anti-bullying advocacy. Join Facts First as we explore the evolution of Monica Lewinsky across 5 impactful phases. Her life leading to the scandal. At 21 years old, she began serving as an unpaid intern in 1995 at the White House's Office of the Chief of Staff, Leon Panetta. The position provided exposure to prominent political figures, including President Bill Clinton. Lewinsky first formally met Clinton that same year when her intellect and enthusiasm caught his attention during a departing staff event. Over the course of her 5-month internship, she and Clinton began crossing paths more frequently in casual conversations. She was described as hopeful of securing a paying job in the administration after the internship. That November, following conversations facilitated by Staff Relations Manager Jocelyn Jolly, the president's special assistant Nancy Harnreich informed Lewinsky of her acceptance to a paid position in the White House Office of Legislative Affairs. At the same time, in 1995, Lewinsky and the president started a flirtation that progressed into an intimate relationship. While details weren't disclosed, accounts suggest the pair exchanged small gifts over the following 2 years. Revelations also indicate late-night calls and plans for private moments together away from White House staff. Their communications and encounters seem to have carried on through 1996 without drawing internal attention. But by April of 97, some superiors like Chief of Staff Erskine Bowles suggested Lewinsky spend more time on official work. That April, she accepted a transfer out of the White House to a Pentagon public affairs role. Reports differ on precisely when, in May 1997, Clinton ended his intimate involvement with Lewinsky, to the dismay of both parties. But she later hinted that they reconnected briefly after her Pentagon transfer, as she still often visited and called the White House. Intense public and media scrutiny. In January 1998, speculation erupted regarding an intimate relationship between Lewinsky and the president. This followed official denials of an affair in a sworn deposition by Clinton on January 17th. The next day, online tabloid publisher Matt Drudge released a report publicly alleging evidence of a sexual relationship cover-up. Major outlets soon picked up the story. Accounts described this revelation as instantly cementing Lewinsky's status as the most internationally scorned woman in the world almost overnight. She described the public shaming as excruciating, with her character assassinated on the global stage. For weeks, she remained barricaded in her mother's apartment, hiding from intrusive press and public torment surrounding the alleged affair. Claims suggest she was unable to leave safely without facing swarms of reporters shouting explicit questions or hurling blunt verbal attacks. Critics also unleashed a barrage of cruel insults, threats, and harassment against her at all hours through every communication channel. She was reduced to demeaning nicknames and jokes told by late-night hosts, comedians, radio shock jocks, and public commentary trying to profit off of her misery. Lewinsky highlighted that people seemed to forget there was a human being with thoughts and feelings behind their measurable contempt. Legal fallout and her retreat from public life. In July 1998, she garnered transactional immunity from prosecution to provide extensive grand jury testimony. This provided authorities from directly weaponizing any admissions outside the context of their investigation. She confirmed to prosecutors intimate communication and plans to conceal the past relationship. After securing immunity, she pursued several business ventures looking to profit from public curiosity, despite ethical questions on capitalizing from scandal. She took interviews, authored a biography, and designed a fashion brand, all focused heavily on her sudden fame. But this seemingly triggered unpleasant accusations that she was commercially exploiting private turmoil for financial gain. By late 1999, still unable to escape constant invasive media coverage and compounding reputational attacks, she retreated fully from her public pursuits. Reports from confidants suggest she aimed to continue her education abroad and quietly rebuild a normal private life away from American soil. After studying briefly in New York, she relocated overseas and enrolled in a 2-year social psychology master's program at the London School of Economics. For the next decade, Lewinsky lived nomadically between cities, trying not to draw attention to her precise location or activities. She turned down media requests, film offers, or interview inquiries that might link her name publicly to unsavory topics again. Embracing advocacy and production roles. By 2014, Lewinsky had spent a decade avoiding the spotlight and struggling to secure employment untainted by her past affiliations. She had a shifting perspective after confiding in her mother about the 2010 suicide of college student Tyler Clementi following online harassment for his sexuality. Lewinsky had regrets that she couldn't reverse time to help Clementi. These discussions seemingly stirred reflections in Lewinsky on making constructive use of her infamy to support others mercilessly ridiculed in the internet age. Later that year, she authored an essay for Vanity Fair recognizing her age and maturity that gave new context on the power imbalance in her consent as a young intern. She professed deep remorse for her mistakes and the pain caused. But for the first time in more than 15 years, her vision focused not on self-defense, but more on helping society progress. She slowly re-emerged in public forums over subsequent years to champion anti-cyberbullying efforts and lend her perspective to related initiatives. This entailed participating in numerous awareness campaigns, serving on the board of the organization Bystander Revolution, and speaking at events like Forbes summits on tackling online harassment. By 2018, demand grew for Lewinsky's insight consulting on projects, dramatizing events from her youth under a more informed modern lens. After declining offers for decades, she agreed in 2019 to directly produce FX series American Crime Story, covering her affair with Clinton and its political fallout from her vantage point. Creator Ryan Murphy called her involvement invaluable to ensure the characters were portrayed fully dimensionally. Today, Lewinsky runs her own production company focused on spotlighting historically underrepresented stories and voices through film and television. Quiet life out of the spotlight. As Lewinsky celebrated turning 50 in 2023, she has carved out a peaceful life largely away from the media circus of old. While still a public figure lending her voice to social causes that resonate deeply through experience, she otherwise embraces her privacy. Confidants convey that today Lewinsky leads a quiet suburban lifestyle focused on her advocacy work rather than seeking fame or fortune. She has called the 2010s the best period yet of her adulthood, having actively reclaimed agency over her identity and narrative. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever been the victim of cyberbullying? Let us know in the comments section below.